Welcome to kaltstart, the podcast where we talk about startups, entrepreneurship, and everything in between.
Follow us on our journey of building a business from scratch, while we share every step, obstacle, and achievement with you.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Fuck it.
Okay,
We have that already.
Okay.
So let's just start with. So the topic today is why to start a startup at all.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Let's go.
So, there are some different reasons why you should start a startup and why you shouldn't, actually. And
So the downsides and upsides of starting a startup.
yes, exactly. And that's what we want to
Pros
talk
and
about
cons.
today. Because there are many people out there who are very afraid of starting your own business or just realizing their commercial ideas or whatever. Because of some reasons. And because of some reasons that are over all the
same
decisions.
reasons.
Yes.
Kinda, right?
Exactly. They're always the same reasons why you shouldn't start a startup
Yeah.
and why you
But
shouldn't
there are
realize it.
exceptions,
Exactly.
probably,
Exactly.
but
of course.
overall.
But all around, that's the point. And there are some that are grounded, some that are really like good to know these reasons, so you can think about them when you start your startup.
Yeah.
So they are like that you have a ton of
Responsibility. Yeah.
So you're always on call. You have to always answer your emails. You have to always be there.
But it's true. You don't have to do anything.
Of
You
course.
can try to.
Of course.
You can try to.
But if you want to
be successful,
Yes.
that's a point. So everyone can kinda try to start their startups, but they're gonna fail because of those same reasons, which are kind of you have to. If you want to be successful with your business, you have to be always on call. You are always on call.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of responsibility.
If you get a phone call from one of your team members, your founding team members at like 3 a.m., you have to answer it because you are the responsible person of your own success.
Yeah. So that's kind of the difference between, working in a company, and it doesn't matter how large it is, the company you're working in. If you're not the founder, then you have your responsibilities, but you don't really feel like it's every step that you take has direct action of what you take from your job. If you work somewhere, you just get paid, let's say 10 euros an hour or whatever, and then
if you
it's
mess
not
up,
important.
if you mess up, it's the you can blame someone else.
Yeah.
Because there's always someone above you.
Yeah.
Except you are the CEO or you are the founder of the company, and that's what startup and entrepreneurship is all about.
Yeah.
Because it's not always the case that the CEO of a company is the founder or one of the founding members.
Yeah.
But in most cases and in most not so large scale companies, but moderate. That's most of the time that the CEOs and the CFOs and all the high staff members that get blamed for everything are really the leading parts of the company and the founders most of the time.
I think the founder of Pinterest once said, to the argument of you don't have someone above you to, so you're the boss, kind of, and he was like, I've never had so many bosses in my life after I started my company, because your users are your boss.
Exactly.
Your employees are your boss. Your co-founder is your boss, because it's all up to you to make them happy, because if they are happy, then you're successful.
It's funny, I saw an advertisement like yesterday or something. I don't know from which company, but it says like something like in nowadays in the selling industry, the customer isn't only king, he's God.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of true.
It's kind of true. It's kind of you. If you are the founder or the CEO or the head of a company, then you are responsible for everything that happens with this company
and everything that goes wrong. I think Sam from Y Combinator once he has a really nice quote. I can't remember the quote exactly, but it was kind of like, it's on Twitter. So if someone wants to check it out, it's on Twitter.
Yeah.
Click Founders. But he was like, you're responsible for every mistake that your employees do, and there are, to give credit to if the whole company achieves something.
Of course.
Yeah.
So
you're kind of at the end of the day the one that takes all the
blame.
The blame, yeah.
And the bullshit.
The bullshit, yeah.
Of course, you're responsible, and that's really one particular reasons why so many people starting out to build their own businesses are afraid of taking the step, because they know that they are the ones that are blaming all their own bosses and all the heads of their companies where they work in, and they don't want to be in this position.
Yeah, so those people who are like, I'm gonna start my own business because my boss sucks or my job sucks because of my boss, they are going to probably fail. I mean, it can be that they're right, but in general, no.
Yeah, you are the one who makes the decisions then. And if you're afraid of decisions, that isn't for you. Yeah. So you shouldn't start a startup.
But you have to be decisive. That's true. If you and there are some harsh decisions you have to make as a startup founder. Most importantly, in the early stages of your startup, because in those early stages you kind of give the direction the whole company is going to. And if you make one wrong decision, kind of by hiring or by kicking out someone of a company, then it has a really huge impact in the long run.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not only that you have to make big decisions fast, and that's a really scary thought.
Yeah.
But it's always also the thing that you have to be successful with your own company, your own startup, 100% committed. You have to have the vision. You have to say, okay, this is the most important thing in my life, and you have to commit all of your time and all of your energy to it to be most successful.
Well, I don't
say that you can't part-time start a successful startup.
But it just won't work.
But
let's be honest, it just doesn't work.
It depends on the kind of company you're building. So if you really want to build like the Silicon Valley way startup, like scalable and huge profits and stuff like that, and like a software company or something, then you have to just push it. You have to put in 100%, 110%, all of what you got in there, so you can outcompete everyone else.
Yeah, and the thing is that if you don't do it, you're gonna fail, and probably no one wants to fail with their startup, and you can't just leave. You're again, if you're at a other company, you're like, I don't like it. I just
don't
leave.
feel it.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave. But
exactly, and then you just get a new job.
Yeah,
a new job.
Yeah,
but in the early stages of a startup, of course, you can't say just fuck it. I don't want to do this anymore, and then you just get a job at McDonald's or whatever.
Yeah.
But in some later stages where you got team members and there are people that are involved with this, and you will get the blame for if you say no, I'm out. That's too much for me.
Yeah, and
so you have to be prepared for that.
And you have to invest time. I mean, the co-founder of Facebook, the one who got fucked over, I guess.
Yeah.
The one, the story, right? So he was at his lecture in Stanford. He was like, if you have a startup which is kind of okay and goes in the right direction, you have to at least spend 10 years in it.
Yeah.
And
the problem
with
that, if you got a startup or any business of any kind that you build from the ground up, if you are just profitable and or not profitable, but if you can sustain yourself, then you're like half dead.
Yeah,
if there's no growth anymore, then you can just say, okay, I'm like a zombie and I don't really know where I'm going, and I can just.
And if you find out that it's not gonna work, then he said that you at least have to spend 5 years into it, so that you have employees, you have people working for you, and that's their work, right? That's a job. They count on you. And if you see that it's not gonna work well enough, then you have to spend 5 years so that you kind of land it properly, so that
exactly.
everyone gets happy, so that
Yes.
you're not the asshole that kind of leaves
That
because you can't
That
leave.
doesn't mean that you are not fucked over. So
Yeah.
like you're not broke as fuck and like emotionally demolished and stuff like that. But that means that all the other people involved are like kinda okay. They can survive. So it doesn't mean that you will survive, but it means that you're not the.
There
the
again, we
asshole
have the
you
point
would
of,
like.
people working for you are your bosses.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, because they count on you.
Yeah, and then we come to the next point. So like, is the reason you should start a startup, or really the only reason why you should start a startup, if you got a really burning idea that you want to solve with your company.
Yeah.
So that's like really the only reason why you should ever do this.
Or a best reason. Let's say best reason.
The best reason, yeah, okay. Kind of
mission oriented.
It's kind of the only reason actually, because if you don't have a really clear reason why you do this, then you aren't 100% committed.
That's true.
Then you can't just put everything in and then expect like to be the most successful entrepreneur if you just don't believe what you do.
Yeah, so there are people, wanting to start a startup because of the money, but there are a lot easier ways to get rich.
A lot easier ways, yeah.
So yeah, to the commitment thing, that's true. I agree with you. If you have the best companies had kind of solved the problem, or the founders of those best companies or more successful had this mission to solve a problem which they had. Let's say Brian Chesky, the founder of Airbnb. He was broke. He couldn't pay his rent, but he had a free room in his apartment.
Yeah.
So what he did was kind of solve his own problem, which he had. And that kind of at the end gets you committed to what you're doing, so that you give 110% because it's your problem also.
Of course. That's really one of the best reasons why you can start it, or you can really think about starting a startup.
Yeah, true.
But there is a personal story here.
Yeah, our story.
Our story. We had like the wrong mindset. You could say.
So
in the beginning,
we kind of wanted to start a startup for the sake of starting a startup, which is
a really terrible idea, actually.
Yeah.
Like we found out. But you shouldn't start a startup just to have done it, or just because it's cool, or just to make money, because it isn't a really good way to make money. It's just a good way to.
Not always. I mean, you can get rich
of course, you can be really successful with it in cases that you can't with regular jobs. But the percentage of the companies that get to this level is incredibly low.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly hard to get there.
Yeah.
So you have to be really, really committed to work everything in your ass off to get there. So that's not a good reason to start a startup.
So our story
because it's cool and stuff. But we did that, and we thought to ourselves, okay, we wanted to do that, and we want to build a company, but we didn't know what or why or like what an idea we have to do something. We had nothing. Yeah. And then we just
we started to think about ideas with which we would be able to build a company.
Exactly.
And then we kind of had a problem with the whole process of finding the idea or turning an idea into a company. And then we kind of took a step back and now we want to solve that problem, that general problem with our startup.
It was like something like we tried to build a company without an idea for the company actually, and because we did that, and in the progress of finding an idea or finding out about how to build a startup in the first place, we realized it's very hard, and we realized that there aren't many sources of like learning or not like really learning, but really step guides and guidance from experienced people, and generally in the internet and on it wasn't really approachable. And then we thought that's a really hard problem. We wanna solve that because it's something that is exactly in our hands.
Yeah. So we kind of got lucky with the whole point, because if we would have just go on with the whole, we're gonna find an idea and it's gonna work, then we would have failed miserably.
Yeah,
So,
maybe.
So the whole advice
Of course.
that is given from us or from other people who who have experience in the whole area.
By the way, we
There
don't.
is
We actually
maybe
don't.
we kind of have experience.
Yeah, we got experience from all the failures we have experienced
Yeah.
till today in the progress
yeah.
of starting our own company.
So that's the whole. That's comparable with the advice that you get from, I don't know, let's say the CEO of Mark Zuckerberg or Brian or Sam from Y Combinator, but we are on a lower level of the whole point because we have that we don't have that much experience as they have.
So that's a little bit about our story and our idea and how we came up with this concept and some other things that we are planning in the future. But that's a really good reason and a really good thing that we can show to how to not do it. How to because we got lucky, because we in the progress of doing something that we wanted, we stumbled across an idea. And that's kind of the point, because if you don't have an idea, it isn't a good idea to force it, to just go there and say, oh yeah, the idea will come and I will start a startup and then I will figure out why. And
you have to stay behind your idea, because I'm thinking about the previous point that we had, which is you have to spend time, at least 5 years if you fail, and let's say 10 years.
Yeah.
And if you're and there are gonna be problems. It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
As we said, at 3 a.m. you gotta be there. You gotta be for everyone there, and everyone is gonna blame you, and you're responsible for all the fates. Yeah.
Course,
so if you don't have a idea with which you are happy or you're passionate about,
you believe it?
then, or you believe in, right? Then you're gonna just give up, because
give up or fail because of some other factors.
Or fail because you give up, because it's hard, and in those 10 years, if it's hard and you're not passionate about your idea, so you don't follow it, and it doesn't drive you there through those problems, then you have a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Because it's really hard, and you need something to really motivate you to do all of this shit.
And that should be the passion that you have from, best case scenario, a problem that you had, and then you want to solve with your company.
Exactly. So these are some really, really good and understandable reasons why you shouldn't even start.
Yeah.
Why you shouldn't even take your ideas, your business ideas that you got in your mind, and put them out there and try to realize them and try to build your own business with it. But of course, there are many good reasons why you should say, okay, let's do it. Quit my job and just focus on my startup and focus on my business idea, which is built up on my brilliant idea or my motivation behind it all.
Yeah.
So. And some of them are, of course, a little bit, because it's cool, because you are then an entrepreneur and you can call yourself a founder and you can write it in your Twitter profile and in your bio. Everywhere.
I did
that. Me too, of course.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the point. You can't do it then, but you can do it and feel good about it because you know that you have done this and other people didn't.
Yeah.
So that's a really good reason, but of course there are some more, and I got some here.
Let's go.
Okay, first thing we can discuss is it's kind of fun.
It is fun.
It's kind of fun. It's not for everyone, of course, because
but it depends on, again, and it's funny how in my head I kind of get back to the previous points, which is it's fun if you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, exactly.
we are passionate about our ideas.
What
so
I meant, there are some kind of people that are really excited by the thought of not knowing and taking risks and stuff like this. Because as an entrepreneur, as a founder, you have to take risk all the time.
Yeah,
You don't know.
that's true.
It's all uncertainty there. And you have to take
And
risks.
you never know.
And you will never know.
You'll never know those decisions that you made, in which direction it would have get you or
of course.
country.
And there are some people that really like this and really get excited about it. But of course, there are some people that take the safe path and just play it safe and just do the thing that's really the how do you say it? No risk in place.
Oh yeah.
So, but of course, it can be fun also if you are that kind of person, because then it may take really a long time to get where you want to, but it's always safer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a really good reason. You will have really much fun. You will.
Yeah.
You will.
It's hard,
you will,
but it's
you will get to
weird.
You will go through hell.
Yeah.
But
it's fun hell.
That's that's kind of the point.
Funny hell.
Yes.
That's that makes sense.
So and the next thing that's kind of really one of the big reasons why I'm so passionate about all of this is because you can just like this create something from nothing.
Well, it's not just like this.
It's kind of like this.
This summarizes 10 years and hard work and your passion and your time and your hair probably, because you're gonna fall off and
No,
you're gonna
that's not
die.
what I
No,
meant.
you're not gonna die, but it's hard.
But the idea and the vision that happens after you got this click and I know I want to do this and I will build a company on this. This is like from nothing to something.
That's true.
So, and another point that I'm always really fascinated about is like the power of the internet and what you can do with so few dollars in your pocket.
Yeah.
So you don't have to spend a lot of money to get like advertisements and like attention. And
well, in the best case scenario, you don't even need advertisements because your product is so good that it just goes
that's
viral
point.
with the word of mouth.
We will discuss this in a later episode.
Right,
how to build the product that users love and that you don't even have to advertise for. But the thing is, like, because of the internet, you can just learn everything. Like,
so you have access to a lot of knowledge.
You have access to a lot of knowledge, and you can like build your business in your underpants in your bedroom at 3 a.m. You have the opportunity to do this.
Yeah.
And like 20 years ago, that was like crazy. You couldn't even dream like this. So you have to wake up at 7 a.m. and put on your suit and walk to your really nice
but
office
on the other side,
but now you can just get your computer and let's go.
I agree to some point, but at the other side, it's much harder because you have more competition because everyone has access to this knowledge. So everyone can sit in their underpants at 3 a.m. in their bed and build a business.
Then you have the decision of the ones that want to do this and the ones that do this actually.
Yeah.
So like I think, and that's like kind of the point of this whole podcast and like the whole thing we are doing here, is there are a lot of people out there, I think, that want to build a business and start a startup, but they don't do it.
Yeah.
Because they're afraid, because they don't want to make the decision, because they're stuck
take
in
the
their,
risk,
like 9-to-5 job and can't break out, and
or they don't know how to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like this is kind of the thing, because there are some people that just think, why not? What is the worst case scenario that can happen? And it's like, you live in a really good country, I guess.
Yeah, I hope.
You're hearing this. And
where you have internet.
That's
a good point.
A really good thing. And
it doesn't summarizes the whole, stage of development of the country, but
yeah, of course.
But let's hope that
So let's discuss the worst case scenario. What can happen? So if you study startup and you fail miserably, and you are broke, and all of your friends are gone, and you are alone, and you're emotionally...
And your hair fell off.
Exactly.
I don't know why I have this tick with the hair.
Who knows?
But
you can always get a 9-to-5 job everywhere. So...
well, yeah, kind of.
It's not that easy, but you won't die.
Well,
that's kind of the point.
yeah, true,
If you
true,
don't fuck it up really good,
Yeah.
you won't die, and you won't be.
And you still can have a startup or try to have an idea as a side project. A lot of people have that, at first. Of course, in some stage into your startup, you should invest your whole time into your startup, but that's after point, in which that it's gonna be your main project and not a side project anymore.
See that it will go off some.
Yeah.
You can make the decision, and you know that it's a good decision to do this.
So the point is, everyone should start a startup.
Yeah.
Well, no, but everyone.
No. But
no one shouldn't start a startup because of not wanting to take the risk or not knowing how to start a startup.
Like, summarize this like this: if you are afraid of starting a startup, and that is the reason why you don't do it,
then fuck you.
Then you're doing.
Oh, sorry. We're live. Is the thing on?
It is scary and it looks scary, but there's no point of not taking the risk and realizing what you have in your mind and what you want to accomplish. So, yeah, there you have it. And I think...
Boom.
Bam.
Knowledge. Ty Lopez is proud. Yeah, nice.
Thank you for listening. This was Kaltstart, our startup podcast brought to you by ClickFound Media.
If you want to get access to the podcast episodes before everyone else, inside infos and direct actions you can take to build your own successful business, you should go to clickfound.org and be part of our community.
See you there. And don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel.